I had a live with a special guest, Scott Joseph White, on my live, and we were talking about IPS and stuff. But we were also talking about when he got started in the industry. So he was saying, like, when he first started, he was very lucky that he got a lot of opportunities to second shoot for others, associate shoot for others and stuff. And I was like, that's great, because it sounded like he got started in the mid 2000 teens, right? And when I got started in 2009, 2010, I was looking for opportunities. I was actively looking. I was like,
Yeah, same
guys,
here.
I will shoot for you guys for free. I just want to learn. I just want to shadow. You don't even have to pay me. I just want to learn. And like, no one. We would get get the door slammed in our faces everywhere we turned, even for free. Like, listen, I will shoot for you for free. And no one wanted to help. And one of the most, I guess one of the most wonderful things that I heard, I don't think this is recent. This is a little while that he said this, right? Ryan Bernizer, if you're listening, shout out to you of the Bernizer method. And he was like, listen, if you have a secret ingredient that is crucial to your success, right? The thing is, in this day and age, no secret stays a secret forever. This ain't KFC. And even if it is a KFC secret recipe, people can figure it out, and they will figure it out. So if your entire business model is hinged upon this one little secret, right? As soon as that secret goes out, and it will go out eventually, you're out of business. So there's no point in trying to keep those things a secret. And that's why, Ryan's been so generous with his knowledge and sharing it and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So why was I sharing this? Oh, we were sharing this because, there are some people in the industry where they just hoard information, right? And they don't want to.
I had someone someone who's been in the industry for a long time. I asked them why they're not,
sharing.
Yeah, or become an educator, and their response was, well, "Why would I show my competitors how to do my job?" I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, that's all I need to know.
Yeah, I get it.
Because the thing is, you could techniques. If it's a shooting technique, that stuff eventually it'll end up on YouTube. Eventually, people will figure it out. I guess in their minds, they're like, well, until that day comes, this is my secret. You know what I mean? But the thing is, that day will come, and then what are you gonna do? That little special shooting technique and stuff. It's no longer a secret. And the thing that I like to teach a lot of my students, the folks that I coach, I was like, listen, the secret ingredient is you. The clients who book with you, they're booking with you. Great work. Or someone who shoots in a similar style as you. I mean, I think people like to think that they're super unique, but the thing is, there are probably like a good 5 or 10 other people in your market who can shoot similar to you. You know what I mean?
Secret is you.
The secret sauce is you.
If they like you and if they love your style, like they will hire you. Like this morning, my engagement session couple, I had to like give them like 3-4 times, like contract
Salaries?
like 3-4 times.
Oh,
and,
that one. Okay.
Yeah, they took like whole month. So they were shopping around while they are. So I guess price, maybe they wanted like someone cheaper. I don't know why. So I guess they were, while I sent the contract and they were shopping around, so they were showing my photos. So all these other photographers were like, oh, can you like shoot this style? Like, can you shoot like her? And these photographers are like, oh yeah, we have some session that kind of looks similar. And they were like showing them. And they're like, no, that's not really, that's not really her style. So I guess they were like shopping around, and eventually they're like, yeah, we need to hire Karis.
They were like, sure, I have the same preset. I could just slap it on there.
Right. So there were even, the bride was mentioning that to me too. She's like, yeah, they could, edit it and try to match the colors and try to make it look like your thing. But
it's nothing like the original.
You. Yeah, it's you and what you offer, what you see.
Unless that person is booked.
Right. If you like the person,
then like
love
if
the
that's
style,
you can't go around showing that person's work to
Yep.
everybody else and think that's what you're gonna get in return.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, what was the point of this? Me sharing this? Oh yeah. So if you're
Secret sauce.
Secret
sauce
is in the
sauce.
person.
Yeah, the secret sauce is not in the technique. The secret sauce is you. That's what it is.
It's definitely not. And one thing I remember from my college professor when I was in graphic design, only thing that kind of stuck with me from my 4 years of college.
That we just recently paid off the loan for in our 40s.
So he said, you guys are all, doing this as a whole industry. So he's like, you guys don't look at each other as a competitors. Look at each other as
A community.
Yeah, community colleagues. So if you share info and there's good knowledge, and if you teach each other, your whole industry will grow together.
Yeah.
And you'll bring up the value of everyone instead of just you by yourself being a loner and
What's the?
Yeah.
Unless you don't like that person, then fuck that person.
You
What's
guys
the
can.
phrase? Better together. We're better together.
We're better together than
together,
apart.
yes.
A rising tide raises all ships. Okay,
Teamwork.
and that's why I've been so generous with the knowledge that I've accumulated over the years. And that's part of my intro, my very wordy intro, as Scott put it. That information is free. All right, I have no problems providing information. Right. The value that I bring to the table as the coach is the implementation part of it. If information is all people need, then fine, go for it, right? But the thing is, I think most people, when they struggle, it's not the information part. It's how do they execute that information? How do they apply that information, right? That's where the power is. And sometimes they get lost doing all that stuff. So, someone like me would come along and kind of guide them, right? But
It's like
the information is not as valuable as you think it is.
And that's what we're here for. And that's what we're leading into some more information on this second part of the episode. Sorry, I said I had to segue these guys. I keep them on track. Because I was about to tell another story. And I was like,
I was gonna say, it's like hiring a personal trainer. Anyone go to the gym, right?
okay.
Moving
on.
So, Jen, are you ready to get this podcast started?
Yes.
Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to the Focus AF podcast. My name is Ben.
This is Karis.
I'm Jen.
This is Ro.
Awesome.
We are Focused AF.
Yes.
We're trying to be. I don't think
my T-shirt says I'm
have
focused.
we ever done a two-parter?
Yeah, a bunch of
Oh,
times.
not two-parter.
Like a two, like splitting up
A and
the
B
topic.
or one and
No.
two.
Yeah, we've
No.
done double headers a lot, but I'm talking
Yeah,
like the episode just got so long that we had to split it into two.
Yeah.
I think this is the first
This
one,
is the
right?
first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Somebody won't shut up.
Jen couldn't stop talking.
Oh, yeah. Jen talks so much.
So anyway, what are we talking about on today's episode?
So this is part 2 of some tips and advice for couples, other photographers on wedding planning and the whole process.
All right. I
Yeah.
can dig it. Let's go.
Yeah. So we talked last episode about vendors, tips for looking for your venue. Now let's get into mostly photography on how to plan with your couples for the day. So I think the first step, and usually in the process after booking, is their engagement session. So what are some things that you guys recommend to your couples for planning for that process?
I recommend that they do one. Because I
Yes.
think a lot of times they try to opt out to save a little bit of money. Or maybe they'll say, hey, listen, I am a little awkward in front of the camera, so that's why I don't want to do it. Well, the thing is, that's probably another reason why you should do one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because the thing is, the way that I explain it to my clients is like, listen, I've been doing this for a long time. If you want me to just show up on your wedding day, I can get the job done. All right? It's just like a first date that you have with someone. Like, think about your first date that you had with one another, right? Like, it would be very hard for you to screw that up. Anyone can schlep their way through a first date without causing any unforced errors.
Yeah.
But the thing is, on your second date, everything's a lot smoother. You know what you can talk about. You know what buttons you can push. You know where the conversations can go. You know what your limits are. You know a lot more things that you can do, right?
You could probably go for the kiss the second time.
Stay focused, bro. So in any case, I was like, listen, we don't have to do the engagement session if you don't want to, but we recommend that you do. And I would say 99.99999% of them take us up on that offer.
It's just as valuable to us as it is to them.
Yeah. So I tell them, listen, it's not about you guys and the pretty photos. All right. That's the byproduct of the engagement session. The primary reason why we do this is how we do our dry run. This is how I can do a better job for you on your wedding day. This is how I can serve you better on the wedding day. All right. And I also use these as a way to get feedback from the clients. Hey, listen, you can come back to me and say, hey, listen, Ben, I really enjoyed the session with you. We had a great time. I love these pictures. These, not so much, but can we get a little bit more of these on the wedding day? And that way I will know how to serve you better on the wedding day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm throwing everything at the wall on your wedding day and hoping something sticks, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I understand that you're hiring us for a certain style and you're going to trust our vision and all that, but like still, everyone's going to have a little bit of their own nuances as to like what they like best about our work, you know? And this kind of helps me kind of go in the right direction as when it comes to producing the work that you like. You know what I mean?
And I think it's helpful because they've never been photographed before to see those photos from the engagement session, see what they don't like, might not like about their appearance, or, okay, I know, hey, can you look out for my double chin next time? Or, you know, I like this side better. If we don't sometimes know these things in advance on the wedding day, at least that helps alleviate that issue afterwards. Certain angles you might not like, things like that.
Yeah.
What do you guys do as far as when you guys plan for the engagement session? Timing, what's the best time of day, all that good stuff.
I just show up.
You just show up. By the way, do you guys send a guide to prepare them for the
We
engagement
do.
session?
Yeah, we have blog posts, a bunch of blog posts.
We do
actually.
too. I think we have like a 15, 20 page guide for the engagement session. And in this session guide, we have, what to
I
wear,
don't.
how to prepare.
I don't. Where's this guide?
Guys, like I've never seen this a day in my life.
Pro Paper has one. Ben Lau has one.
Yeah, because I made it for them.
So where's yours?
You can make your own. You have the template.
Just take out the little logos, Karis.
Just take out swap out the logos, put your pictures in.
No guide.
Karis's clients are already cool, so they don't need any tips or
Spontaneous
advice.
is the key.
Anyway, in this venue guide, and this is for the photographers who are listening, this is a really valuable resource that you can share with your couples to prepare them. You're setting them up for success, So in my guide, I outline,
Success.
and I mean that's what it is, right? So in this guide, I tell them, listen, this is what here are some wardrobe ideas. Here are some engagement session theme ideas. Here are some of the routes that we take. I have like 10 routes in there. Like if you're looking for a more woodsy vibe, this is one. If you want looking for something a little more urban, here's another one. If you're looking for more architecture and stuff like that, here's another route. Whatever it is, I have a little bit of something for everyone. And this is just another way that we serve our clients a little bit better.
Yeah, we do the same.
Yeah. So we send out this guide, and as far as scheduling them is concerned, the most common question that we get from clients is like, how far in advance should we send these out, or rather, how far in advance should we schedule this thing, right? And I guess it really just comes down to where you're using it or how you're using these pictures. If you're using these for save the dates, in my opinion, I think they go out 9 to 12 months
12
out.
months, yeah.
Yeah, 9 to 12 months out. So you need to give the photographer about a 1 month lead time to get these back to you. So you want to plan that accordingly.
Yeah.
We don't care. Well, it's not. No, I'll tell you. We don't care that your Groupon is expiring next week.
Yes. Then come to us month before your Groupon expires.
Don't come to us like 3 days before your
before,
Groupon
yeah.
expires and say, "Hey, I need these pictures by tomorrow." Right? Like, please plan it accordingly.
That sucks.
All right. I'm telling you right now, most photographers' turnaround time for these engagement sessions, you got to give them a couple weeks to get these back to you. Okay. Especially during this busy wedding season, which is for most of us between spring and fall. Okay. If you do your session in the middle of winter, then you'll probably get it back a lot sooner. Okay.
Yeah.
But for sessions taking place between spring and fall, expect a couple weeks, maybe even month to 6 weeks. Okay. But in any case, if you need these photos for that reason, right? For these save the dates, plan accordingly. If you need to use them for decor, right? Again, it's still going to be at about a month for you to get these back. And then you got to also schedule like another month to a month and a half for your printer to fulfill it and to send it to you, right? So plan all of that accordingly, all right? But honestly, I think your photographer will be more than happy to shoot you any time of year, all right? You just have to get on their schedule. That's pretty much it, okay?
Yeah, just plan.
Yeah, and be flexible with day and times. Some photographers only shoot during the week because their weekends are packed for family or weddings. If you're choosing a location that's popular landmark like Central Park, Brooklyn Bridge, plan to do an early morning session.
Only.
Carousel's only morning
Only
ever.
morning sessions.
Only.
For us, we like the afternoon.
Yeah,
it's like we like the late
that
night
warm
golden
light.
hour.
Yeah.
So we usually only do morning for like Central Park, Brooklyn Bridge, all those landmark
I
places.
used to make my clients suffer and go out with me at 5 a.m. to
Oh,
catch
no.
sunrise at Central Park. And they did it. I was like, let's rock and roll. Let's do it. And this is when we used to live closer to the city. We used to live in Bergen County, so it was like 30 minutes to get to Central Park, right? Now it's a little longer, so like I try to do them in the afternoon.
Yeah, you never go out in
It's
the
so
morning
packed
anymore.
in the
yeah,
afternoon.
yeah.
All right. But I prefer, just like what you said, Central Park, Dumbo. I want to add another one to that list. Meatpacking is another one. Those three, I recommend starting early. in the morning.
Highline's
Yeah, that's meatpacking, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those three locations, I usually recommend like 8 a.m. But if you guys can't do it 8 a.m, then it's an afternoon session. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, what's the difference between a morning session and an afternoon session? Why do photographers lean towards a morning session? Number one, it's going to be tourists and other people in the background of your photos, right? Lighting's going to be the same. Morning session or an afternoon session, the lighting's going to be roughly the same. biggest difference, it's going to be the people in the background.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crowds, okay? And when you're
Crowd.
shooting in a market like ours, like our city is New York City, and that place just gets crazy after 9 o'clock.
Cannot
Crazy.
do crowd.
Also, the other, and,
Karis, we
and
will
also as
not
far as
be doing
picking
that.
dates are concerned, we generally like to shoot these sessions on the weekday because weekends it also gets crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's true.
usually weekdays around 8 o'clock. That's
can't
when you
remember
can see us in Central
I
Park.
can't remember the last time we did a weekend engagement like in the city.
It's been a while.
Nuts. It's got to be nuts.
If we do it, it'll be the same thing. It has to be early morning.
Yep. Early morning.
I'm not messing with those tourists.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks better too. It's less people.
Yeah.
You suffer a little bit,
Like,
but
you
it'll be
have,
worth it.
Like limited area to work because of like, oh my god,
There's a lot more
mad
that you
people.
can accomplish in a limited time as well.
Yep. The madhouse. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and the violinist and the balloon guys, out there pretty
Oh,
early in the
he's
morning.
there.
He's there at 8.
No, earlier, man.
yeah.
We've been there at 7:30. He's
Yep.
there.
He's
The
there.
violinist?
Yeah.
He's setting up
there.
already.
I feel like
literally setting up at 7:30.
I think the bubble guy's out there pretty early too.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the bubble guy in the morning.
I kind of feel like the violinist has like a identical twin, and they just like, they just like take to a 12-hour shift.
They never leave. Yeah.
Yeah, 12-hour shifts.
The only thing is he's like right in the middle, right? He's perfectly centered, so I can't use that composition.
Is this your rent? Like, do you pay rent here?
Yeah, he's there every morning.
Yeah.
We're there, and I'm just like, he has
Yeah,
a clone
why
or
are
something. Like, he clocks out like
Never
at
leaves,
7
yep.
at 7 a.m. It's like the
7 to 7.
the-
He's there.
it's like the changing of the guards.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. I've never seen him like, or his stuff. Like, does he go to the bathroom? Like, does he eat?
He sometimes has a dog. I know, big dog.
Yeah, I've seen the dog.
Right? Yeah, fluffy big dog.
Stay
yeah.
focused, guys. This is going to be another 2-hour episode. All right.
Well, moral of the story is early morning.
Early morning, weekdays,
Always choose early.
and give your photographer a month lead time before you actually need the photos for anything.
Yeah,
right?
and attire wise,
Yeah.
wear something you're comfortable in. If you're wearing heels, bring backup shoes. But the key always is be comfortable. Be yourself.
And the outfit has to you have to be comfortable in your outfit.
Yes,
Yes.
able to move.
Also, the outfit has to complement the environment. Do not wear green, and you want your photos in the woods.
yeah.
You're gonna blend in. So
Camouflage.
The floating head, just floating.
yeah, just be mindful of that. Like wear colors that will pop in certain scenes.
Yeah.
I think
Pop some
sensible
colors.
shoes is probably the most,
Yes,
especially for
yes.
city sessions. Wear sensible
Yes.
shoes. You can always switch out when you're ready to shoot, but wear sensible shoes
Yeah.
for sure. Expect to walk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Also, locations wise, I mean, every photographer is going to be a little bit different as far as how generous they're going to be with their time. I think most sessions, though, they're going to run somewhere around in the ballpark of 1.5 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not talking about Ben Lau circa 2012 when I was doing 6-hour sessions in the city.
I know people that do that.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
that's on them.
6-hour sessions? Holy
That's
shit.
too much.
That's too much. Yeah, I'm not doing
Like,
that.
there's no time limit on it. They just shoot until they
Until they tap out.
until they feel that they capture what they need, and I'm just like, all
It's like
the,
a
it's an
wedding.
all
Wedding.
it's
6
like
hours.
an all day affair. I'm just
Oh
like,
my god.
see you later, man.
Oh
I'm
my
going home.
But yeah, wear sensible clothes, wear sensible shoes.
I heard today that some video people are offering like a little
Yeah,
Engagement
yeah.
videos?
I have,
Yeah, I know some.
Yeah.
Lindsay does that.
Jonathan 4K told me he's done a few,
Mhm.
and he's getting more like requests for it. Also, location wise, you can pick a location that means a lot to you. Sometimes people just pick stuff because it looks nice and they've never been there.
Mm-hmm.
Try to be a little creative sometimes too. Pick something that hasn't been done.
Mm-hmm.
If possible, pick something that has meaning to you and not just like, let's go here because it's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
Right.
fine too, but think outside the box as well.
Mhm.
Right.
We're sick of it.
But you know what? You can become best friends with your photographer if you ask them, hey, listen, is there a location that's on your bucket list?
Yes. We had someone to ask that recently.
It's like, do
She
you
was
have a bucket list? I was like, yeah, I do have a bucket list. I want to go here. And that's how I took that photo. Oh, you guys can't see it. It's
What
off to
is
the
it?
cliff.
The
It's,
cliff one,
Lake
yeah.
Lake Minnewaska? Yeah.
Love Lake Minnewaska.
Right.
Yeah, but it's too far. So we stopped.
Yeah.
We stopped telling people about it.
Are you going
I've been
here?
wanting to take that photo for years, and I finally got it. And I'm so happy that
It's
I got
awesome.
it.
It's an awesome
Yeah.
location. I recommend it if it's like when we talk to a couple in a consultation, and I when Jen always asks them like, "Do you have an engagement location in mind?" And they start to describe what they're looking for, and it sounds like that. I'll maybe suggest it. I try not to because it's so far.
Mhm.
That's
But
pretty.
occasionally, I don't mind taking the drive. Sometimes just get away.
Yeah. I mean, listen. No, this is no bash on anyone who decides they want to do their pictures in Central Park, Dumbo, or Meatpacking. if that's where you want to do your photos, we'll go there. But if we have the opportunity to go somewhere else for photos, your photographer, I can guarantee you they'll be all over that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do go to Central Park and Dumbo and meatpacking every other weekend, if not more.
All right. Moving on past engagement sessions, going into the wedding day, wedding timeline and expectations. So what do we tell our clients about planning for the day and how much time to allot for certain parts of the day?
Whatever they think is the appropriate amount of time to do something at 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Buffer.
I have so much buffer throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I'm not stressed. They're not stressed. Actually, I do a timeline building exercise with all of our clients.
So do we.
Before they book. This is during the initial consult. A lot of other folks, they send out questionnaires to their clients. Hey, listen, you do whatever you want to do, right? But for me, this allows me to kind of go over their day, kind of manage expectations a little bit. That way they don't feel like I'm trying to sell them overtime or anything like that. Like, hey, listen, you told me that you wanted coverage from here all the way to your sparkler exit, So that's 12 hours of coverage.
Yeah. We do it on the call too. And we have people sometimes that be like, oh, I only need 9? I thought in my head I would need like 12 hours. And then that helps for sure. But then we do the questionnaire thing again after as well.
Just to confirm.
After they've booked. Yeah.
Just to confirm, right? But go over the timeline with your photographer. Make sure that you get everything that you want to have covered.
So typically what we tell them is like 2 hours per like main portion of the day, main parts of the day.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours for prep, 2 hours for first look portraits. Yeah.
And then that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and
like,
then the rest of the day is at the venues.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happens,
Mercy.
happens.
Yeah.
I'm there, so I don't leave your side.
After that, it's just basically like documentary coverage. So you just follow in.
I think there's 2 areas where you have the couple needs to pay special, 3 areas, special attention. The first one is during prep. In my experience, doing maybe over 1,100 of these timelines, right? I'm usually like 99.99% on the mark as far as how much time you'll need and what it ends up being, right? I would say the bride needs about 2 hours in the chair for hair and makeup. And then for each additional bridesmaid, add 30 minutes on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that should get you roughly to where you need to start. And then, but I was like, I always talk to hair and makeup people. They'll tell you how much time they need, but you should always budget around 2 hours for yourself. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number 1. Number 2, you got to consider travel time. Whatever travel time that you think it's going to, like, hey, it's only 15 minutes away. Add another 30 minutes on top, because the thing is, you might be, busy gathering all your stuff. You can't find your shoe. You forgot the marriage license or whatever it is, right? There's delays. Add 30 minutes on top. I know it takes 15 minutes to get you from point A to point B, but there's a lot of other things that could be happening to that'll delay you. And then last but not least, portrait time, right? Like, you might think, oh my God, it's an hour and a half for photos. That's a lot of time for photos. It is not, okay? Because your family pictures are going to take 10 to 15 minutes.
I usually get, is that enough time?
Plenty of time.
Hour and a half?
Yeah.
Well, we do 2 hours, but usually
Yeah.
they'll be like, is that enough time? I'm like, yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours is very good.
Ideally, yeah.
Ideally, we want to get 2
Yeah,
hours.
2
Your,
hours.
photo,
Yeah,
your
but
photographer
for
wants to get 2 hours.
everything,
Yeah.
like
Group photo,
family,
family photo, yep.
Yeah, because your
Mhm.
family photos, depending how big it is, but I would say it's 10 to 15 minutes for the family photos, and then another 10 to 15 minutes with your wedding party, and then your first look's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes, maybe a little less, right? So whatever remaining time, and I put it in the contract that, or not the contract, I put it in the timeline that way. Whatever remaining time we have, we'll spend it with you guys until you guys tap out, and then we'll send you guys on your way, right? But usually we want about at least 45 minutes, just the 2 of you.
Yeah.
So that puts us right around an hour and a half,
Mm-hmm.
give or take, right?
Yeah, 45 minutes is a perfect amount of time,
Yeah.
especially if everything's like within the perimeter.
I don't have to go too far
Yeah,
for photos.
you could definitely do a lot in that time frame.
Right.
And it also gives them like you give them a quick 5-minute break if they need it to freshen up and
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
Exactly. So as far as scheduling, did you talk about scheduling for the wedding day? Is that what the question was?
Yeah. So I guess another thing too is like when you mentioned about the questionnaire, giving as much information as possible to your photographer in advance.
Well, the photographer also has to have the foresight to ask the right questions too. Because sometimes I think there's a miscommunication because they're like, well, they didn't tell me that was important, so I didn't get a photo of that. Wasn't that in one of the posts recently? Something
was
about
about
there was a miscommunication of some sort. The photographer didn't think.
With the second shooter,
You said you heard it from
the second shooter
mom,
didn't get the shot with his
missed
family.
everything, yep.
Yeah. So this the second shooter. Oh,
That was
that's another
from
one. We
you.
gotta add another one. So I was the bird.
Another T.
So
the bird came from you.
the bride, no, this was a bridesmaid. She said she recently got married, and her biggest regret was that she didn't vet the second shooter, but there's no way for you to vet the second shooter. You know what I mean? And I think that should be another topic.
Unless you hire a husband and wife team. Where you know who the shooter is, right?
Well, Karis and I, it's someone on our team now, our second shooters. We used to shoot together.
I'm just kidding.
So Jenn and Ro, they actually, so I sent this message. I was like, what do you guys think, right? I mean, like, is it the photographer's fault that they didn't get these photos? Is it the photographer's fault? Or is it the client's fault? Should the photographer have asked, like, hey, listen, are these shots important to you? Or is it the photographer's job to ask?
Why is that not? Why is that something you need to ask? Just get it.
Right. They're like,
and the photographer meant to get it, but misfocused. So obviously, it's your fault. Why are you missing focus? That's my like.
No one missed focus. No misfocus. No. Missed the photo completely.
Unfocused.
There's no photo.
Oh,
never took it.
They never took it. The mom wasn't during prep. The mom was there during prep. Dad was there during prep. Yeah, the second shooter was there.
Okay. So
the second shooter didn't get any of that.
Pure second shooter's fault. Photographer's fault.
I agree with you that there should be communication, because what if the groom didn't want his parents in the photos? Like, I've had that happen, and I had a parent, send us an email very upset because she wasn't in any of the photos, but he told me he didn't want them in the photos. So you're right. Communication is very important there. If that's important to the couple, you should definitely photograph it.
Yeah, but this is my advice to a lot of photographers or newer photographers. Listen, take pictures of everything.
Yeah,
it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
And delete it. If
you can always delete it.
If
they don't want it, they can delete it,
They
right?
can come back to you and be like, can you delete this one, this one, this? Always have it, or, give them more than.
I've never had somebody come back to ask to delete, actually maybe one time, but a couple of requests about additional images.
Yeah. Like, for instance, I had this one couple a couple years ago, right? The bride was having a fight with her future mother-in-law. She didn't want to take a picture with her mother-in-law at all, right? So they did all the family photos, and then when it came time for her to do photos with the mother-in-law,
she grudgingly did it because her parents are like, do it for your husband.
Do it for your future kids and everything like that, right? So all the pictures are smiley, 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 except for the picture with her and the mother-in-law. She's like... She's like RBF. It was 20 years.
She took it, but she was like...
She was very visibly like
it was
angry in the photo.
Yeah. But I think at least giving as much information as possible to your photographer in advance. And one of the bullets we were going to hit on was family dynamics, managing expectations, letting your photographer know certain things so we don't create an awkward situation on the day of the wedding. Like, at least in that situation, it was her family forcing her to do it and not you forcing a situation that can go back on you. And so... knowing all those things in advance.
You got to read the room
really
and say, all right, I'll do whatever you want me to do, okay? So just let me know what you want to do. I'm just here to take
any family drama, different dynamics that, they don't get along. Like,
that's none of your business.
You have to let us know. Otherwise, we don't know.
Yeah, it's none of our business.
Yeah,
we don't have to know what happened. Just say like, hey,
don't put this person
with this person,
or, that person.
My parents are divorced, so they won't take a photo together, just so you know.
Communicate with us. Let us know.
And definitely, do you guys do a family photo list?
During the consult, yes. So one of the two questions that I asked during the consult, magic question. Oh, not magic question. Very important question. Parents on both sides, are they still with us and are they together?
No, but like leading them to the shooting the wedding. Do you have a list of combinations?
I have a mental list.
We
I have a
give
mental
to
list.
them?
No.
No.
They give to you.
Only we only ask them like only
I do not take
only aunts and uncles and cousins. Give me that list, but like for immediate family, don't give me that list because you're gonna throw me off.
Yeah.
Because I have a rhythm and I can get through the list very quickly. In
Really?
my mind.
I can't do it without the list.
We always go because what happens is sometimes they're divorced. There's half siblings. There's new spouses. There's new grandparents. So on the day of, I don't want to be doing the math and figuring out who's what. I want the day of. We're calling out names. We're rotating people in and out. We're done in 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's why.
But I work on it with them. So I give them a guide and say like, here's the standard. Give me their first names because I also don't want to be like bride's mom, bride's dad. I want to call them by their names. So it'll just break down the combos. Usually it's not more than like 20 combinations.
We
30.
get a lot of comments, compliments from relatives, and because they've never usually a lot of people don't do that.
And that's the most painful
That's the most
part.
painful part of the day.
And it goes quick. And we're also shouting at people. If you're calling Joe and he's gone, now everybody knows that Joe is missing, and we're waiting on Joe.
Joe.
So now everybody's like, "Where the fuck is Joe?" and then you see Joe with a Bud Light in his hand. So it makes for us like we won't show up to the wedding day without it. I know photographers that like you guys don't have the list, and you're able to do it. But in our experience, we've missed, not really our fault. Things happen. We missed like a couple combinations, and ever since then, we're just like, no, this is not
It's
going to
very
happen
rare
again.
we miss a combination. The only
Yeah.
reason why we would miss one is because people were wandering around. But
That's
very
mhm.
rare. It's very rare that we miss
Yeah.
for immediate family. But if you have if grandma's here, I don't know grandma's. I don't know who grandma is. I don't know if that's your aunt.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's at.
We
right?
include grandma in the immediate. I tell them include your grandmothers in the immediate,
There's grandparents.
just in case.
Yeah, and if
'cause
there's
But
That's
I
important.
always ask my couple to assign like people in charge.
That helps too. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not immediate family, like I
Somebody
need
who knows
to- yep,
everybody.
I need
Mhm.
like brother, sibling, cousin.
Yeah.
Yep.
What happened?
Yep.
Why I like it that way? Because what happened before too, we've heard from bridesmaids that are like, oh, my photographer, and I didn't think to get like a shot of just me and my brother alone. Like we have him with like my parents, but I would have loved one of me and him alone
Individual, yep,
together.
yep.
So I like to like just narrow that in
Yeah.
advance,
There
so
was
they
one
have
time. Was it during COVID? I had a shot with mom with bride and brother. Right.
Mhm.
I missed one with bride and mom. That was the one I got every single combo.
that. Mm-hmm.
One combo I didn't get was bride and mom. Right. I'll never forget it again. Right. So I was like, I didn't take it. She's like, I swear to God, you took it. Where's the photos? Show me all the photos. I was like, I don't have it. Right. Anyway, we ended up having to Photoshop it. And she's like, I told you. Like, part of me is like, this is Photoshop, but we didn't want to kind of reveal that we Photoshopped it.
Photoshop, yeah.
I remember that story.
Yeah.
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 So Karis,
That bride inquired with us.
See, I would have had my
Yes,
notes
yes.
with my bulleted list that I cross off, and I wouldn't have missed that shot.
Yes.
So we had to Photoshop it, and
Yeah.
that was interesting.
Hey, I mean, if they can do it, and I'm sure they should be grateful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Happened to us, and we got it fixed, and you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But for us, we won't show up to your wedding day without that list.
Yeah.
Was this a tip for couples?
I think for both photographers and
Photographer.
couples.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think a lot of photographers out there like, I'm not using a list because I don't
That-
want to be liable for anything. But I'm like, don't you want to kind of
Have
show the
everything.
extra effort, I think,
Yeah.
and say
Yeah.
like,
Include everything.
you want to include everything. I don't
Mhm.
want them on the day of the wedding thinking about what combinations that they needed or what photos to
Oh
take.
yeah, yeah.
Because then they'll
I've
forget
seen that.
somebody.
I've seen that. I when I was associate shooting years ago, they never used to give me a list for the family. And basically, the bride looks at me during family formal time, and she goes, "What do we do now?" And I go, "I don't know your family, so you're gonna have to call the groupings."
Mhm.
She was so stressed out.
Oh.
She was so flustered. People are missing. It was like snowing outside, and I couldn't help because I don't know who everyone is, you know. So I feel like in those cases, but also like you said, you have a mental list. Like you kind of know which are the go-tos. Like I didn't know who anyone was. I got nothing.
Mhm.
So at this point, I'm just like, this is on you, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
And a lot of photographers do that because they don't want to be liable. They don't want to be responsible if they miss a shot. It's up to the couple.
Mhm.
I've seen it work well that way too. I've seen a lot of photographers they're able to do what they need.
Mhm.
But for us, we like to have that little insurance policy.
Yeah. Everyone has their system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a good way for brides or just couples in general, if they want to kind of see how the photographer manages this part of the day, take a look at that part of the gallery. That's how you can kind of figure things out. You know, I
Yeah,
know
it's
it's not
okay.
sexy. I know it's not a very sexy part of the gallery because those photos are
It doesn't
pretty
have
good
to
alone.
be. It
It's
just has
not-
to be
And
clean.
we don't really show those, but it's okay to ask for a full gallery, and it'll
So you can
all
see-
be there.
Yeah, that should all be there. Those
Yep.
family pictures
Yep.
should all be there.
Yep.
Yeah, and if your photographer says, "Oh, I don't,"
Share
yeah,
galleries.
share full gallery, then
no, if they say like, "I don't work off of a list that day," create your own. Then there's
Yep.
plenty of guys do a quick Google search,
Yep.
put together your own list, and say, "Hey, my maid of honor is going to help. This is the list she's
Yes,
going to call
yes.
out," and then that'll
But
keep
honestly,
things
your
Send it to
simple.
photographer should
everyone.
accommodate you.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
yes.
First look, how can we plan and what are the benefits of doing
Should we do one?
first
Should we
look?
do one or
Pros and
not?
cons of
Yeah,
first look.
yeah, right. So first things first, what we always ask is, do you want to go to cocktail hour?
That's how I frame it
Right.
as well.
Yep.
Mhm.
Is it a yes? Okay, you have to do a first look.
Mhm.
It frees everybody up to go to cocktail hour. If you don't do a first look, you're not gonna go for cocktail hour. Your parents, your family are not gonna go to cocktail hour.
Friends either.
Their wedding party is not gonna go to cocktail hour. So you're gonna have a lot of cranky people.
And cracky photographers.
Yes. So if you do a first look, it allows you to not only make the cocktail hour, you have 2 more hours to spend with your significant other which is a huge benefit as well.
Mhm.
Or so I had a wedding. They got married at church. So
You have a buffer there.
yeah,
2-hour
they
buffer.
didn't do first look,
Yeah.
but they put 2-hour buffer after the ceremony.
That's fine.
So yeah,
that's
that
fine.
works. If you are able to do a buffer
Yeah.
between church.
But if everything's
and-
happening on site,
Yep,
Yeah.
there's no way.
And what we normally do, I know.
Well, I guess there is way, but you just have to pay for extra 2 hours.
Yeah, I have friends that won't even take weddings if it's no first look. Like they have it on their contact form.
Oh, they gotta tell you
up front.
when they inquire.
Yeah, when they inquire. So for me, it's like, yes, it makes our job harder. It's more stress. If you don't want to do a first look, I'm also not going to force you to do a first look, but
Right.
I'm going to tell you that the product that you're going to get is not what you're seeing in our work. And as long as you're okay with that, then I'll honor their wishes.
Yep.
I'll do what they want.
Yep.
You're being fully transparent. You know,
Yep.
it's not like you're trying to bait and switch
less
them.
portrait time, and yeah.
Less time together, I think, is you're paying all this money. You're gonna wind up only spending like 5 hours with your spouse. Like, at least spend another 7, 8 hours with them. And the emotional aspect, I think, is a myth too. I made a whole reel about this because people were like, "He's not going to be emotional at the ceremony if
affect
there's
it.
a first look."
No, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything.
He's
We've
still gonna
had
be
guys-
emotional mess.
Yeah, or if he's not, it's because he's just not. Period. That's just who he is. So
Yeah, it doesn't rob you away from that special moment of you walking down the aisle and him seeing you for the first time. Like it's still happening.
Yes.
Yeah. I got ready with Karis on the morning of.
did you guys really?
We got ready together.
Cute.
I was in charge of bringing the dress over.
We did.
Aw.
You came to my prep late, so we didn't really get ready together. You were at home. I was at shop, and you were late to bringing my dress. Anyway,
But in any case, we saw each other before the wedding day, and we did all our pictures beforehand. But my point was, when I saw Karis coming down the aisle, it was still very an emotional moment for me. So, by the way, tomorrow's our wedding anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary.
You guys got married the same year as us, didn't we?
Oh wait,
Yeah.
oh wait,
15 years.
15,
Isn't that
yes.
crazy? Ew, gross. So long.
What's gross about love?
It's so long. I didn't
I was
realize.
counting till I was like, oh my gosh, 15.
15 years. So anyway,
Did you cry when you saw Karis walking down?
I was emotional, but I'm not much of a crier.
Okay.
I almost cried yesterday when I found out Aiden got
Aiden-
some free money.
Yeah, I don't have to pay.
He cried. He
money
was saving money. He was happy.
I cried. I was teary up. I was like,
Yeah.
we opened the letter. Both of us read congrats. We're like,
He told us a sneaky thing. You
yes,
guys did.
yes.
Yeah.
We won't tell Aiden. We promise.
He doesn't listen to the podcast, right? But in any case, I mean, listen, you do whatever you want to do, right? The right photographer for you will respect whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
right?
And we
They're not
can
going
work
to try
around
to.
it.
They're not going to try to control your day. They're at the end of the day, they're there to serve you and make you happy. Like I know that we have a lot of opinions on how we want to do things, but at the end of the day, we want to serve you. We want to make sure you're happy, right?
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to try to like put you in a headlock and make you do things our way.
No, we can make it work if you don't do a first look for
Yeah,
sure.
That's what I said.
We're just trying to
It's
show you
more-
what the pros are and try to get the most like
it's-
Yep.
part of your get the most out of your wedding day.
Yeah, and
Have fun.
photographers out there who are forcing their clients to do a first look, you guys cut it out.
What we notice is the ones that don't do a first look, they're more like they want more of like the storytelling vibe,
Yeah.
and
So they don't really.
yeah, you
They
just
may
have
not
to
even really care
embrace
for
it.
portrait session.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just have to embrace it. And
I have a bunch of.
you know,
those, yeah.
there's photographers out there that the portrait session is their bread and butter.
Yeah.
Like that's where
Yeah.
that's what they're known for. So
Right. Then.
I get it.
Yeah.
So other photo wise for a wedding day, one thing I think that we all try to talk about and look out for is attire.
For who?
For
The vendors?
no, for
The couples.
So maybe I should word this better. Things to look out for appearance wise on the wedding day that you might not think of, or that you notice on the wedding day and then you expect your photographer to fix. Things like blemishes, our very favorite tan lines, things like that.
Fake tans overall. Their
To
whole
look
skin
out
tone.
Oh my
for
God, what's going on
those
lately?
kind of things. Like our friend, I won't name his name, but did a wedding recently. She had a strapless dress, went tan. Well, I guess she was out in the sun, had thick
So bad.
straps.
So bad.
She's strapless with these thick
Yeah.
strap lines on her body. And now he's like,
Could-
see it in every photo.
Could makeup take care of it?
I don't think you could.
No. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
She had to
probably,
probably maybe a spray tan, something that would even
probably
it
something
out.
could have fixed it, but she didn't say nothing until the day of the wedding and was like, "Hey, is this gonna show in photos?" And he's like,
Yes.
"Yeah." And it's not something like the little tan line in the back is like whatever, you barely notice it, but it's like she's wearing
It
a
was
shirt.
bad.
Wow.
So the moral of the story is, ladies, maybe sometimes guys. Oh, guys, keep the sunglasses off during the summer. Okay. Are you gonna have these raccoon eyes?
It's all these little things to look out for that you don't think of.
Yeah. So
I think.
gentlemen,
Don't get a tan right before your wedding. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
fake.
Yeah.
Or
Like
do it
tanning
a few
salon?
weeks in advance where it's not like
settles and
3 days before or the day before and you look like an Oompa Loompa.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
those kind of things.
You really wanted a 1, but you ended up with a 6.
Yeah.
And then you expect the photographer to
Yes,
fix all the photos
Yeah.
for free. That's
skin,
a more
skin
far
matching?
advanced.
Oh my gosh.
But what's even worse is that let's say you have a bride plus 5 girls, and only one of them went tanning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now everyone has normal skin tones, and then you got one Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the good thing about Lightroom AI. Now you can select each person or that.
Don't-
So you gotta do every
Don't-
single photo.
don't
Tell the tricks of the
Okay.
trade.
And
And that's a lot of photos.
What
It's a lot of
AI?
I
photos.
would never do that.
What
I don't
AI?
care what AI. Yeah, I don't care what AI. Like that's
That's a lot of
slowing
work,
me
man.
down.
You're not gonna get your
Yeah.
photos for a long time, man.
Yes.
Things as far as blemishes, like if your makeup artist can fix it, do that.
Pay a little extra. Do the chest to
Yeah.
blend the chest.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. Another appearance tip that we give couples for bride mostly is if when you're doing your hair, if you're gonna have it down and parted, make sure the side, because it happens all the time, they have a favorite side, but then their part is on that side, so their hair is covering
Yes.
The
You
entire
don't
side.
see
that
who
whole
it
side of
is.
your face,
Why?
and then we can't see your
Yep.
face, and that's no help. So,
Yeah,
And
and
hair-
they also
and then
stand that way.
your least favorite side is gonna be the one that's gonna be in all the
Uh-huh.
photos.
Yep.
So that's another
And
one.
hair gets messy.
Yeah.
Down and and like for me, like real bow ties for men.
Yeah, really?
Like no, but if
you
you
prefer
don't
the
kn-
real bow
Yeah, I
tie
prefer
than,
real bow
than the
ties.
clip
no,
on?
no. I'm saying if you're gonna choose real bow ties for you and the whole groomsmen, 50 of them, then know how to do them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, know how to do them. Don't be like day off. We're
On
gonna
YouTube
just
it.
wing it and YouTube it.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. You're gonna be late. You're gonna be 2 hours late.
Story time.
Sure.
babe.
Story time.
Sure, whatever
Okay.
you like, bro.
This story is brought to you by the Focus Day of Summit.
You beat me to it.
So I was second shooting a long time ago. They all had real bow ties. Probably about 12 groomsmen. Guess who's the only one that knew how to tie the
Groom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The groom had to do every single
Yep.
groomsman's bow tie. Killed all the shots that the time for me to spend on him getting extra stuff. Couldn't photograph him and his parents who were waiting there because we had to leave right
Yeah.
after. So yeah, I definitely feel for that. Like you should definitely, if you either know at least a few people know how to do them, or just get a clip on.
Yep.
Get a clip on, and
And just
we'll
get
be
real
Tying a bow
bow
outdoors.
tie's
for
not that hard,
yourself.
though.
Yeah,
But no, they don't know.
I told myself I was going to learn so I could save the day.
I
No,
know.
but then
I
you
know
want
how
to
to
do
do it.
everybody's bow tie. You already do everybody's boutonnieres.
It's so annoying.
Like,
Yeah.
I do the
that's another
boutonnieres.
thing.
I
If
do
you
the
can get a
boutonnieres.
boutonniere that just slips in the pocket, please do that.
That's what I've been seeing these
Oh,
days.
those
Yeah,
are
it's so
great.
clean.
No,
pocket
the
square
even better are
boutonnieres.
the magnet ones.
The magnet ones
The magnet
too.
ones are
No,
cool
no,
too.
Now, my past 3 weddings, it was a pocket square
a little
boutonniere.
cardboard.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, that my one this weekend was the same
Yeah.
thing. It was a pocket boutonniere.
It's like
Those
a
are the
huge
best.
trending. My today's engagement session group had it.
Yeah.
Aw.
You know what's good about it too? One thing that could kill the boutonniere throughout the day is people hugging you, and you're
Yeah.
moving around.
Yeah.
That thing doesn't move; it
Yeah.
just stays solid, and it's away from where people usually grab
Yeah.
you to hug you. Which
It's more
is
sturdy.
Also, if you want to just save money on flowers, you don't need them.
Yes.
You don't need boutonnieres.
Yeah.
They're okay.
It's the pocket squares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's true.
You can go simple. Do a pin.
Just go.
Or even little small little
One
plant
carnation.
or a little green leaf. Go simple. Especially on men. I have not a big like.
Oh, you
Basically,
see,
it's a whole bouquet
Yeah.
on your
Yeah.
chest.
And there's-
That's not the worst.
Stems like this long.
that's happened so many
Yeah.
times, and the bride didn't even realize. She's like, I didn't think they were gonna be so big,
Yeah.
and it's like a giant
Yeah.
rose the size of her head, and you're like, that's what we got.
I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Speaking of tan lines, the Apple iWatch. tan
Yes,
lines. So
yes,
it's watch
yes.
tan lines and stuff. Watch out for those. It's really just tan lines because you're creating a lot more work for us. But listen, if that's what you're gonna get, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You know? Can't do anything about it. We can only work with the ingredients that we're given.
Yeah, and get attire that you're comfortable again. Same thing as your engagement session. Something that you're comfortable in. If you have a certain part of your appearance that you are not comfortable with, do not have your outfit accentuate those things because we cannot fix those things
Like arms.
afterwards. For example,
Yes.
if you don't like your arms, you might not want to go strapless
Or sleeveless.
or sleeveless.
Yep.
So just keep it that because it's happened. People have done that and then want us to adjust them
Yeah.
in Photoshop afterwards.
Yeah,
which
that's not what it's designed
Yes.
for.
yeah, you want to feel comfortable on your wedding day.
You want to look your best too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, shoes. Make sure you break them in. The brides this weekend, just my luck. Both of them, they had shoes they had never worn before,
Yeah.
and they didn't last 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And we were shooting in an area where there was a lot of walking required.
Or if you can't see your feet in your dress,
Just wear sneakers.
just wear sneakers or whatever underneath. If you
Yeah.
want the pretty heels for the pictures that we photograph, that's
Yeah.
good. But like for my wedding, I'm not a heel person. I wore the heels going from the hotel to the limo. Once we got to the park for pictures, I was in my flip flops on for the rest of the day.
What
No one
happens
can see your
sometimes
feet.
too, like if the bride is like really short, they
Then
want
that's
the
an
height.
exception.
That's what my second bride said. She wanted the height.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
was like, listen, whatever you want to do.
Or go with like wedges or block heels. You don't have to get like the stilettos that you can't walk in. You
Yeah.
can do that too.
You could destroy them too. You're walking in like grass and
Yeah.
all the
Mhm.
pavement.
No, both
You're
of these
destroying
brides
those
had
nice
block
shoes.
heels this weekend,
Yeah.
but they weren't broken in. That was the problem.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes your feet could hurt. The materials rubbing against your toes and
Yeah.
comfort.
And dress length too.
Mm-hmm.
Like make sure it hits and clears when you're walking. Like
Oh, like when
dress-
you go
yeah.
forward.
dress,
Yeah.
you can't even walk. Like
Yeah.
Here's another thing that not many people think about or talk about, right? Brides, there's a 9 out of 10 chance that you're going to hate your veil after about 30 minutes of having it
Yes.
on.
I
That thing will have a mind of its own.
Had this conversation.
Yeah,
too.
this thing will have a mind of its own in about
The
30
love
minutes.
and hate relationship.
It looks very nice in photos, but you're not going to enjoy having it on because it's going to get tangled up in everything. You're going to get caught in everything.
And longer the veil, you're
A
gonna
nice
hate it
gust
more.
of wind.
Yeah, I usually they'll be like, do I wear it for the first look? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
You can put it on right before the ceremony. And then if you want a veil shot right after the ceremony, 5 minutes, we'll get a couple of veil shots and you're done because you're going to hate this thing.
That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to hate it.
I've made my peace. You're going to hate your veil. In,
Yeah.
in about 30 minutes, you're going to
Veil
hate your veil.
shots are like in right now too.
Yeah.
Like,
But the thing, all right, here's
We'll
my
make
thing.
time for it, but I'm just saying, I don't want you walking around for 3 hours.
But
with it on.
the craziest thing that I see that I make fun of all the time when I see them show up on my feed, it's like these flying veil shots, but it's indoors. Like it's
Yeah.
Or
Somebody
you
open the
with
door.
a fashion, or someone did this recently last week where
the dress. The train
I'm
is
like-
like in the air.
the train's in the air too.
the videographer. I was like, what?
Kind of
What?
looks
is this?
like the bride farted and just like and it's just like the gust of wind is just
Yeah, well, like you're in this grand staircase in your venue. Where's this wind coming
Where's
from? Did
the
somebody
wind?
open?
And your dress is not flying either.
I saw this picture. I think it was in a bride shaming group or something like that, right? Where clearly there's no wind, but they're trying to simulate the wind. So basically, it's very clear that a bridesmaid was holding up the veil and just staying there, and they just photoshopped the bridesmaid out. However, the bridesmaid was also holding a bouquet with one of the hands. So they were able to successfully Photoshop the bridesmaid out, but you can still see bits of the bouquet that's holding up
in the sky.
because they couldn't Photoshop around it. Because that is the trickiest part to Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
So
Just be natural. Just
Yeah.
let the veil go where it goes. You know what I mean? You don't need to do the veil throwing shot. It's so lame. You know? Anyway,
And the other bits of advice is to have fun. Don't sweat the small stuff. All these things will happen. Things will go wrong 100%. Soak
Yeah.
it in.
Yes.
don't.
at that point, it's like not much you can do to remedy the situation. So just
Like fully enjoy the day. Like be there. You plan for like what year, 2 years. Spend so much money. Like enjoy the day. Have fun.
Soak it in.
Don't sweat petty things.
Yeah,
Don't sweat the
like,
petty things, and don't pet sweaty
Forget it.
things.
Mhm. The heck is wrong with you?
You could pet me anytime.
Oh god! But yeah, the time goes so fast. You want to enjoy every moment with your friends and family, and
It flies.
Yeah, but definitely enjoy yourself. And I would say our clients do a good job at that.
yeah,
At really like enjoying the wedding day and celebrating with their friends and family, and this is all amazing to see that because it makes our job easy and just capturing the moments.
All right, so let's talk about power of print.
yes.
Let's do it.
So you pay all this money for your wedding day. You get all these amazing photos. What do you do with them?
It stays on their phone,
It stays on the online gallery
on their iPhone.
in
So
their
sad.
Dropbox.
Some don't even download them.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I still have a couple that will email me. They got married 10 years ago, and they're like, "Can you resend us the link to our gallery?" I'm like,
It's like every 5 years they do it.
"So where
Yep,
where are
I have
your
a couple like
photos?
that.
Where are your photos?"
I'm gonna start charging them a cloud storage.
Seriously, you need some urgency.
Right. Like, so what do we want to say about print?
The importance of having something tangible after your wedding day, and not just leaving these beautiful memories on your phone and on the web.
Yeah. So all of our businesses, the five of our businesses together, no, four.
We have 3.
The 4 of our businesses together, yours 3 and our 1, have adopted a new model in the past year of you're no longer just getting files from us anymore. It's no longer you're going to just have them live on your computer and your phone for the rest of your life. We've kind of adopted this policy of like how important it is to have something tangible from your wedding day, having an heirloom that you and your families could look at for the rest of your lives, something you can hold and flip through and enjoy. And me and Ro always talk about how, like, my parents have a wedding album from 1983. And before we started the new model, we were going through the album, and it's a wholly different experience of like me and my sisters looking at it together, me and Ro looking at it, seeing all the cheesy things from the 80s, and it's a whole different experience and being like, hey, let's scroll through my iPad and see what we can find and talk about. It's kind of told out in a story that you can kind of relive.
And it will be passed down.
Yeah,
to your
I think
children
there's a
and their
small
children.
part. I think, and I talked about this on our IPS talk with Scott Josewhite. It's. I don't think it's so much that clients don't believe in the power of print. There is a segment of them where they do want to get prints. They just don't want to get it through you, the photographer, because they believe that they can get it somewhere else for cheaper. You know, they think they can do it better somewhere else, right? But listen, I got news for you guys. For those couples who are listening, those are clients who are listening, right? I recently had to do a trade show, and I needed to order an album pretty quickly, right? And it was through one of these consumer grade type of places. It's not a B2B type of business where we normally order albums because I knew that they might have a backlog, right? So I ordered through these B2C type of companies. And when I got the album back, I mean, it didn't look too bad. It was in okay shape, but within like 2-3 days, there was a gap. It's supposed to be a flush mount, right? But when album was closed, you can see the gaps on the sides already.
Pages.
I was like, yo, this album's not even a week old. And it's
falling apart.
already warping. You know what I mean? Right? And this album wasn't cheap. It was a couple $100, right? And in the client's mind, they might be thinking to themselves, well, this wasn't a cheap album. I spent $400 or $500 on this, right? But the quality is not there. You know, you guys are spending so much time, effort, and money to have the celebration together, to have this photographer show up on your wedding day to take these gorgeous pictures. Why would you cheap out on the album?
I mean, back then, that's how it was. When people shot film, you didn't get files. You got proofs, then you got an album. It was the normal. And then we switch over to digital, and that necessity was lost. I feel people now in this day and age, they're starting to realize how important it is again. Because as a community, photographers are shifting towards that mindset again, which is great. You know, like Jen said, like, don't you want to show your family like this album, like when they're growing up, when your kids are growing up, or relatives come over who you haven't seen in 10 years, like, hey, you missed my wedding, but let me show you the wedding. You can see some of our relatives in here. Like, it's, to me, it makes no sense not to print it.
Yeah. Would you rather, like, over Thanksgiving dinner, would you rather be passing around a laptop or an iPad, or would you rather be passing around a book? You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. I'm not passing around a
and then
laptop.
it's
That's
like
just so weird.
it gives something to talk about. And even like wall art, you know, it's hanging. You look at it every day, and you remember that moment, that feeling. instead of just like, oh, here,
It's on my
phone.
iPad or on my
Yeah,
phone.
like,
Mm-hmm.
which is like put away in like hard drive, and when are you gonna ever open it? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Let me tell you something. I don't know if I shared this with you guys specifically, right? But earlier this year, I thought that I lost all the pictures that we had in our personal drives, right? 17 years together
Mm-hmm.
with Karis and, growing a family and all that stuff, right? All those memories, all those travels, all that stuff, I thought I'd lost it. This is a situation where the cobbler's kids have no shoes, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I do such a great job taking care of client files that I don't take care of my files, right? I was like, oh shit, I lost all these files. So
I think
after
we're all guilty of it.
Mhm.
Yep.
so after a great expense, I was able to recover the files. I was like, this can't happen again. I mean, yeah, now it's on the cloud, but even that's not enough, right? And then when I was going through these pictures again, I was like, I haven't seen these pictures in such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I always said that I was going to go back and make albums out of it, but that 10 years goes by, 20 years goes by, right? So like, I was like, this has to be corrected. So we started making albums out of all those memories now, because that is important. Those tangibles are important.
The files are not important if you have a product or something where you can still go back to it, hold it in your hand, and seeing those images. If you lose the files, you at least like, all right, I still have it in print. Let me preserve these. When you lose the files, like that's it. Like you spend.
That's it.
Yeah, if you can't recover it, it's gone.
I think sometimes people think that photographers selling them an album is just like a money making thing, but for us as creatives too, it's another experience for us to see our work
In print.
in print. So seeing it on a computer screen is fine, but when we started printing things for ourselves, when we printed for print competition, it was a whole other experience seeing our art in our hands that we can use. So for us, it's like we want you to have that experience too with your wedding photos, and we love seeing your photos in print too. So it has a whole other layer of experience.
Was this guy that was saying that kids have bigger self-esteem when they see
Themselves on the wall.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a family picture of us on our right when you come down our stairs from our bedrooms. Every morning
Everywhere we have
there's a
photos.
big family picture of us, just being goofballs and everything like that. It's my favorite picture of us.
Any photo I think on the wall that
Because
you
of
look at
that.
it and you remember. It's
Yeah.
Because of that picture, Aiden got a scholarship.
It's possible.
So what I'm saying is, if you hang up our
Your kids
pictures
might
on your
get
wall,
accepted into.
your children might get scholarships.
But yeah, they say be willing to invest also in your album after the fact
Yeah.
and actually doing something with your photos after and not just letting them live on something else.
And if you
forever.
don't do it after the wedding, you're never
Never
gonna
gonna
do
do
it.
it.
Never gonna
You're
do
not
it.
gonna
Yep.
do it after
Never.
the wedding.
And that's why we all have like our designers to help you guys go through that process, be able to hold your hand to tell a story for your wedding and not have you sit at home trying to figure out how to piece your album together. How should this look? You'll have that.
This is what
quick
these people do for
one-on-one
a living.
experience. Yeah.
Because if you do it self-serve, there's always a reason why it's better when you have someone else do it for you.
Like professionals.
Like, do I know how to paint a room? Yeah, I know how to paint a room. But like to have someone else do it for me, yeah, it's going to be more expensive, but it's done correctly.
done right.
And I don't have to worry about screwing it up some way, somehow. Because I think, there's a lot of things that I can do, right? But I'm not going to do it. Like even change an oil. I know how to change an oil, but I'm going to pay somebody else to do it because I don't want that hassle.
Yep.
It's going to cost a little more, but that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the service.
They're also guiding you in the right direction of well, not oil, not so much in your oil, but it's something, a service that you're whatever you're doing, whatever they're offering for you, they're professionals, so they'll.
This is what they do day in and day out.
Yeah, they'll be able to guide you in the right direction. If you choose, to make this layout, they'll tell you, hey, this looks terrible. Like let's rearrange this a little bit, and that's what you're paying for too. Yeah,
right.
And there's also, you were thinking your live yesterday, you were talking about how you think if you want to do it yourself, you think you'll do it right away. But as with everything else in life, it's going to wind up taking you like 6
I've been
months,
married-
a year,
listen,
2 years, 3 years.
Tomorrow's our 15-year anniversary, okay? We have a lot of wedding photos. I mean, we have an album, but we don't have a print of anything. A lot of our vacations, a lot of that stuff, we've been putting it off for 15 years. We don't have prints of that stuff. And I say this in my video on my homepage too, like, 1 year turns into 2, 2 turns into 10, turns into 20, okay?
And then kids come and then you lose track of time. And
Just get it done. Let someone else do it for you.
Yeah, within a month or two after your wedding, you got it taken care of. You have your
Beautiful
album
album.
done within 3 months of your wedding. All taken
Yep.
care of. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
So yeah, that's the power of print.
Print your stuff. Give you
through us.
joy.
Yeah, get your prints through us.
Print through us.
Yeah. So, and that's the other thing too, right? Like your photographers work so hard to create these images for you. I think it's my personal opinion that, or even professional opinion, that they certainly earn the right to produce those things for you. Not through Shutterfly, not through Costco or Walgreens or Walmart, BJ's, Costco, any place like that. All right. They didn't earn the right to print those for you. All right.
Those are the photographers that are missing out.
What?
That are just handing over files.
Missing out on what?
Serving their clients.
Yeah,
All the way to the end.
I'm providing them with that service. Like missing out.
It's
true.
You don't want people to misconstrue it and say like, hey, they're missing out on all this income. It's not about the income,
No,
the
yeah.
additional revenue or anything like that. Yes, of course, we're providing a service. We're going to charge for it. Yeah, so there's additional revenue there, but that's not the point here. The point is the job's not finished yet.
In our Instagram, we show a lot of, albums and stuff. And I can't tell you how many messages we get from clients who are not even our clients and ask us, hey, can you make an album for us? Like some photographers don't even offer albums.
Yes. Yep.
But anyway, yeah, clients get albums
Yes.
Yep.
and photographers offer albums.
What can your clients do for their vendors after a wedding?
Tip them?
Oh, well, aside from tipping them, which is very nice, but much appreciated, not necessary.
Reviews.
Reviews.
Yes.
Leave reviews for your vendors.
I love reviews, especially the nice ones.
The nice ones are good, but I will also say, I think some people are afraid to leave
Negative reviews?
negative reviews, maybe some CC, which has come across, not for us, but like we've had, vendors that we know are a little shady and have ruined things for multiple clients. And I feel like the cycle wouldn't have kept going if like the first 2 or 3 people would have been like posted a review and said,
Hey,
this
is not-
person did so and so, screwed me over, blah, blah, blah. Even if you don't post it on their like Google or their whatever in the bridal group, say, give a little word of warning. Maybe it's not so public facing, but just so that cycle doesn't keep repeating itself. Because bad vendors will
I think
keep going.
I see bad
going.
reviews.
Not as much. Like we know specific vendors. I'm not gonna name names, obviously,
They're
but
still in business.
that have been completely shady for like 10 years.
Tell this to me over
Not
dinner. I need to know
returning
names.
deliverables or things like that, and couples. And we had to do a wedding a couple of years ago where the bride hired one of those vendors, and I just had to show up in the day and pretend like I know she's not gonna get the end product, and we just shot it and just we can't say I can't say anything to her. I'm not gonna
That person went off our recommendation list.
Yeah, we don't recommend them no more. So
No. I'm saying she didn't hire anybody in our list.
right, correct.
She found that
But-
person on her own.
I think don't be afraid to.
Leave negative reviews if
Yeah.
it's warranted.
Yeah, if it's something minor, like I would think twice about it, or at least have
Or
that
reach out to the vendor, see if they can
have that
correct it.
communication first. If it's a vendor that's not responding to you, being nasty back to you, don't be afraid to kind of shout them out.
A vendor who hasn't delivered the product.
Right. Or if they haven't delivered the product, definitely say something. And at least, even when you leave a review, it gives them an opportunity to at least
Address.
respond back
Yeah.
to it.
And so for brides out there, couples out there, there are at least 4 places where you can leave reviews. All right. It's going to be the Knot, Wedding Wire, Zola, and Google. A 5th place, maybe in the Facebook groups, but those aren't evergreen, right?
Yeah.
It's going to get lost in the sauce. But if you want something that's evergreen, something that's going to stay on the internet forever, it's going to be the Knot, Wedding Wire, Zola, and Google.
Even Yelp, if they're on Yelp.
Yeah. But if on the other side, if they've done amazing, leave them a review right away. That
And also just
super
don't talk
helpful.
about just the photos themselves. Talk about your experience, right? That really helps us as business owners know what we're doing really well, and we can do more of it for future clients. Yeah, we love reviews.
share.
And they could also keep
Damn it, Ro.
sending referrals.
I was getting there. I was actually refer your vendors to your
Right.
friends and family.
If they feel that we did a phenomenal job, the best way to say thank you is to tell your friends and family about us so that they can hire us as well and keep us in business.
Yeah. There's a vast majority of us who are in this line of work. A lot of us are owner operators. A lot of us are mom and pop, small business owners, right? It means a lot to us that you refer us to our friends, to your friends and family.
Puts bread on our table.
Yeah.
Our kids get to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish we were.
If you don't refer,
I wish
don't eat.
We don't eat.
I wish that we were, rolling in a dough and swimming in coins like Scrooge McDuck. But a lot of us are just mom and pop, small business owners, and we're just trying to pay for our kids, taekwondo lessons. We're just trying to don't get me wrong. We're not living in poverty or anything like that. Let's make that clear. However,
I'm
we're not
living in poverty.
but we're just trying to make an honest living. Most of us are, okay, and every referral that you send our way, it helps.
Yeah, and share on social media. When you share, remember to tag all your vendors.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
I think we've covered the whole wedding planning process. From
Well, for
beginning to
now,
end.
I'm wondering,
For now.
what did you guys think? I think I like this format. Maybe we can do this once every other month or something like that. We
What?
can come up with new stuff.
Part
Like-
1 and 2?
No.
Oh.
Just like
Like a topic,
planning
and
tips.
then we just discuss. Like,
Okay.
So different tips for couples, vendors, whatever.
Whatever
And I'm
it
sure
is.
we'll come
We'll
up
come up with more stuff.
because we have so many stories. Something will happen, especially in
Little lesson.
October, that we will learn.
Speaking of stories, what is our hot topic for this episode?
Somebody's
You
excited.
segueing into things. I love
So we
it.
actually-
I'm
we
trying
have
to
a-
go home now.
we have a story that we wanted to share. This one comes from our one of our listeners. He's a photographer down in South Jersey, and he recently shared with us an experience that he had at a venue.
So, trying to find a quiet place to hide from the kids. But yeah, I ran into an issue with a venue down in South Jersey a couple weeks ago, and pretty much show up and start doing portraits with the couple. The bridal attendant was awesome. Like, she was super sweet, like always on the ball with, helping out and holding the bouquet and making sure that the dress was good. And it wasn't to the point where it was annoying, where it was getting in the way. She like just did enough, and it was great. She just was out of the way and everything. So as I'm working with the couple, I noticed the bridal attendant is taking pictures on her phone, which isn't a problem. We're pretty used to that, considering a lot of venues, use those pictures anyway on their own social media and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes the bridal attendant just takes those pictures just to have, I guess. So yeah, the couple was set up. It was really nice backlight. It was just a great setting. The space is great. The couple was great. They were having fun. It was a good time. Sure enough, a couple days later, I see the bride posts these pictures that are like, to a professional photographer's eye, that they're taken by a phone camera, but to anybody else's eye, to an untrained eye, the pictures look good. They look good. It was just crazy how she was able to pull it off. Especially with such hard backlight that I had. But they were fully edited, cropped, everything, for Instagram. It was just... So the bridal attendant was actually taking pictures of the couple. And then before the night was over, she texted all the pictures to the bride, which I kind of have an issue with. So what happened is the bride made the post, and, she's not in the wrong. She doesn't know, if she has to tag, the venue and say the bridal attendant took these or whatever it might be. She just posted and said, hey, here's a couple pictures from the wedding day, I'm so excited, yada, yada, yada. And it ended up getting like over 300 likes. And I think the last time I checked, it was like 70 something comments, some of which were like, hey, these pictures look great. I can't wait to see more. Me assuming that's people thinking the actual photographer took those. So one, they weren't in my style. They didn't go with what I actually shoot. And there were a couple people there that asked the name of my company, and they're going to associate that work with my company now, which is misleading. And there was also somebody there that had a niece that was engaged and asked for my information. And now it kind of kills that opportunity for me to show my work, because this bridal attendant posted these pictures. And if this aunt, takes a look at them and doesn't ask who took those, she's going to assume that it was me. And they don't look super professional. They look good, but they don't look super professional to the point where, I can't even explain it. Anyway, so it just kind of ruins that whole thing. What happened is I let it cool off. Of course, I was upset for a couple hours and was thinking about it, but I cooled down, and a couple days later, I was like, you know what? After talking to a few people, I'm like, this is the first time I'm actually reaching out to a venue about an issue ever. And typically, as photographers, we don't really speak up about this stuff, but it's messing with my business, and I didn't appreciate it. So to be honest, the bridal attendant really doesn't know right or wrong either. She's not going to be like, hey, make sure you tag the venue that we sent you these pictures, not the photographer. Like, I'm assuming she's just doing this because she likes doing it. Well, I called the venue. The first woman I speak to was actually really pleasant to talk with. She was understanding. She knew exactly what I was talking about and where I was coming from. And she was like, you know what, I'll talk to the bridal attendant. Maybe it's a thing where, if we keep doing it, she loves taking pictures. And, if she does keep doing it with these brides and grooms, we'll just tell her that to tag the venue, and that it's not the photographer, and to tell the couple, to mention that if they post it. So I'm like, oh, that's great, whatever it might be. I can't tell her to take pictures or to not to take pictures or whatever it might be. Anyway, 2 hours later, I get a phone call back from the general manager, I guess, somebody that was looking for a fight. And he was kind of coming at me a little bit of aggressive in the beginning. And I just kind of stood my ground. I kill him with niceness and just kind of told him where I was coming from. And I was like, hey, I'm not calling out of aggression or to try and get into an argument. I just wanted to let you know that I'm coming to you out of confusion, but also concern, because like you might have an issue down the road with another photographer as well. But I just want to let you know that it really kind of messes up the flow of what I do. It's a little bit misleading to what I do if people don't understand that the venue took those pictures. So he told me I was crossing a line and I was stepping over the line, and I can't tell him what to do with his employees. And he started getting pretty aggressive. So I stopped him halfway through his talk and I was like, hey, like, let's put you in my shoes now. So what if I came to your venue and I brought my own food and I put it down on your plate and took a picture and didn't tag you guys or say it was your food, but I mentioned that I was at your venue? People would assume that that's the food you cook, but it was something that I brought from home that doesn't live up to your standards of what you guys deliver in your venue. Same thing, in my shoes, it kind of ruins the image of what I'm trying to, show to clients and potential couples. He got really upset, and that's when he started telling me that I'm the only photographer that ever complained about this, and I should really think twice before trying to bite the hand that feeds me, and started like getting really aggressive. So I got pretty aggressive back. I just would prefer never to work at that venue again. So I guess, if anything like this ever happens, I was, I'm telling a lot of people about this just to be like, hey, like, stand your ground. Like, this is your work. It definitely affects your business if this happens. Now, also, we are going to be dealing with, content creators and stuff in the future. It's just going to happen. It is happening. I don't have a problem with it as long as they're like, hey, tag our business. We were the content creators. We were following you guys around, this, that, and the other thing. That's fine. It's just the way things are going. We can't stop that. It is what it is. And couples seem to love it. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wow, what a story. That was crazy. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I understand why venues are doing it, because I feel like more venues are starting to do this to their clients, to their couples. And part of that is, I feel like the reason why they're doing it is because us as photographers, we are not providing them with content,
Right.
and imagery or videos that they need to market their venue.
Mm-hmm.
This is a way to get that content, also make the couple happy by giving it to them right away,
Mm-hmm.
at the expense of pissing off
The photographer.
the photographer,
Mhm.
which they probably don't care about. They're more worried about what the client experience is going
You're
to
doing
be.
like 3 to 6 weddings a weekend, and you're just
Yeah.
one of 150, 300 wedding photographers that show up.
Pretty much, it sounds like they told them, like, you don't like it, then you don't have to work here.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
come back.
I feel like it's something that we're going to start dealing with more.
Mm-hmm.
We have to figure out a way to prevent it, or also be quicker with our delivery times and
Do sneak peeks or something.
do
But
sneak peeks.
go out like
I'm not
in
sure
few
if this
days.
person does
Oh.
sneak peeks. I'm not sure what their
I don't
process
think
is.
he does sneak peeks.
And-
No.
But and a way to prevent that is to, like, all right, show them your cell phone images. Here are my images the next day. Like, post like 5-10 teasers and wow them.
I think this venue was posting them same day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough. I feel like it's one of those things where it kind of reminds me of the DJ bringing their own Zap shooter situation and them stepping all over our toes. It's probably going to get to the point where we're going to be okay with it later on. It's just going to be normal. It sucks. It definitely sucks, because I feel like it will take away from that
impact.
from that juice of the wedding, when everything is still fresh, everything's still hot. And if you strike when the iron's hot, like, that's how you get more referrals as well. They're stealing that in a way. They're stealing that away from you. It sucks.
If you don't like it, you don't have to work at that venue. But the thing is, my thing is, it's house rules. You know what I mean? You might not like it. If you don't like it, you don't work there. You know what I mean? It's really sucky. Like you said, it's sucky. I don't agree with it, what the venue's doing. But again, it's house rules. Even if they're terrible rules, those are their rules.
What I respect is that this person actually called the venue out and let them know, hey, what you did was shitty,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why it's shitty. And like, if nobody says anything, like who knows how long they'll keep doing it without no issues. At least this would probably kind of alert them to, hey, we pissed somebody off. And if it happens again.
Well, the problem is the bigger issue for me is that they called him back.
Yeah,
and was nasty about it. And Shadow told him, "You are the only one that's ever complained about this," which may be the case, but like, you don't have to call me back and be disrespectful.
You have no right to. Yeah,
I called. I had a very cordial conversation with the other staff person, and I moved on from it. Yeah. Don't call me back and flip out on me and tell me this is what we do and this is what that's her job.
I wouldn't want to work back at that venue again.
No, it's one of those, I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
How would they like it if I start serving charcuterie in the cocktail hour?
Right.
You go to ShopRite and just pick up
that I fucking made at home and start selling cheese and stuff like.
Yeah, they're definitely going into our lane. I don't agree with it. If it were me, I would not want to work back at that venue again. There are definitely venues that have treated us poorly where I have zero interest in going back. No sweat off my back.
From a contractual point, like the contract the couple signed was just with them, so the venue could even because technically most people's contracts say that there can't be another photographer on site.
That's technically not another photographer.
Yeah.
That's a phone.
Right, but let's say you try to enforce that, right? That contract is not with the venue.
Right.
The contract is with the couple, so it's like you can't even enforce that.
Right.
Yep.
The other thing is, and I made an argument to this on that thread, right? Like if you have someone with an iPhone who can take as similar pictures as what you can create with all that fancy gear that you have, is that picture that wow worthy? You know what I mean? Like
this is the thing. Friends are gonna take photo. They're all gonna post it, and they bride and groom all share all of them. Video, photo. But,
if it's not the attendant, it might be your friend. So what are you gonna do about that?
Right. But attendant, follow me around through 2 hours of portrait session.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna have a problem.
They should know better.
Yeah.
A friend is a friend.
Right.
That's fine. They can't contain
They're
themselves.
enjoying the date
their
together,
friend is getting
celebrating
married.
together.
They want to document that. That's okay. But this is a venue that's doing that. They should know better. They should know to stay in their lane. If it's
go
fine
over there and shoot one or two. You know what I mean?
It's fine. If they're providing some venues do the behind the scenes, they'll do a quick video, and you'll see the photographer working. You'll see the videographer doing his job, his or her job, and then but what they're doing is they're basically just standing next to this person and just stealing his creativity, his location that he chose.
Exactly.
It's not gonna look the same, but at this, for the couple, they're gonna love the photos.
Yeah.
And is this bridal person they're the whole time?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, they're not gonna have an issue. I'm gonna tell her to go away.
I remember this so vividly. There was one time when I took this really gorgeous picture of a bride on the couch, and I actually got lit her with a video light. That was my biggest mistake. I should have used a flash instead, because with the video light now you see where
she could use it. Yep.
Because now with the video light, now you know where the light is landing, and you can take that picture with an iPad. Anyone can get that picture, right? And guess what? The bride's sister took that picture with her iPad, and now the impact of that image is lost when I finally delivered it.
She shared it already.
So she shared it already. Right?
Yeah, I remember this.
And I was so angry, right?
Yeah.
The sister added me on Facebook. I kept her in purgatory for years.
She's still there.
Right, she's still in purgatory right now.
She probably came out to get quiet for her wedding.
That's messed up. So for that reason, I do pictures away from other people. You know what I mean? Or away from family and friends. I don't want you guys to hear me.
That's one of the bad things about using constant lighting now. They
can get the shot that you're getting.
Yeah.
The other thing that I do is there's two more things that I do to kind of stay ahead of this, right? The other one that I do is when I'm doing my posing and stuff, I am keeping that attendant busy as hell. Okay, so that way they don't even have time to take those pictures.
I'll just bring a bridesmaid's other bouquet. They can hold two of them. But then you can't take pictures if you're holding two.
Yeah, that's what bridal attendants are for.
Yeah.
Right, stay in your lane, right? So anyway, try to get ahead of it. Keep them busy. If they are the issue, then give them the bouquet, and then they can't take photos or anything.
Ask for another drink.
All right. Hey, can you get them another drink?
Yeah,
They
send
looks
them
like they look a little parched, right?
Yeah. Get them some water.
Because the thing is, you're gonna have a closer relationship with the couple than they will have with the bridal attendant. So if you tell the couple, hey, listen, I need to get rid of this bridal attendant. Can you ask for some water?
And then discuss this during the meeting with the clients. This is happening.
So if you know that this venue is,
Yep.
they do this often.
Yeah,
have a conversation.
But I don't think a couple will not want that. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like
No,
it's
if you communicate with them and so I walked into a wedding and bride's like, oh my God, Karen. So I wasn't even aware, right? I just walked into the prep and she goes, oh my God, so sorry about the uncomfortable situation, right? And I'm like, what's happening, right? So she goes, so they hired a barber team and they brought like
A barber team.
3 sets of photographers like with legit gears.
Mm.
So I didn't even go into the groom's room yet. So I was like, really? I was like, okay, is this? So I went and went to go see the groom, and so they were like pretty much done with hair cutting. And then, but yeah, photographer came out and she's like, "Oh, are you the real photographer?" I'm like,
That's right. Who the fuck are you? Sorry, the New York City came out.
Get the fuck out of there. Yeah, and then after the wedding, when I shared the sneak peeks, they had the nerve to like message me, be like, "Can you share the gallery so like we could share it on our thing?" I'm
And
like,
did they have their
I'm
own?
like, yo.
yeah, and then you brought your own photographers.
Where,
I'm like,
where the
what?
fuck are your images?
Like, can I see your images?
What the hell? That's crazy,
So
man.
anyway, back to me, right? So I have
You still talking?
so as I was saying, I try to keep the bridal attendant busy if they're shooting over my shoulders.
That's like a good game plan.
yeah, like if I don't like it, I'll just keep them busy. If
Give them
sister,
like 1,000 codes.
just like stack them up. Hey sister, can you get can you get this?
Oh my
What
god,
is
she's
the
about to
thing is-
pass out. Can you get us some water?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. So you can do that. The other thing that I do, and I know it's a big ask for a lot of photographers. Actually, I don't expect anyone to do this. I think I'm the only weirdo that does this. My sneak peeks are ready. But by the time that cocktails finish, I already have sneak peeks waiting for them at their sweetheart table.
But this is a whole new thing for Ben.
No,
When
I've been
I
doing it for a
met
year.
Wow, he was like,
All right,
who has time for this?
It goes back to what I'm saying. Like we're in a world now where everything is
Instant.
right now,
Instant.
right? So your way to combat that is
Get ahead of that.
Right away.
Yeah,
That's
is
what I'm
to
doing.
jump ahead of
Me
it.
now.
Yeah. So like I think one thing that we can do is also, you know, like I said before, like let's be quicker with these things. Like I'm not saying do it the same day like you are.
Yeah,
But
I'm
how
insane.
about next day? Like
Yes,
like
and next
let's
few
get some
days, give
teasers
them
out
something. You know what I mean?
Let's
to
get some
announce their
teasers out.
wedding.
and blow those cell phone images out of the water. You know, like
Yeah,
they-
Yep.
those cell phone
Yep.
photos should not be
Yes.
anything
Uh-huh.
close to what you're producing out of your camera.
That you
Especially if you've been
shouldn't
doing
be
if,
threatened.
if you've been doing for a long time, you should not be threatened by an iPhone photo.
I would also bump into them like, oh, I had no
Yeah.
idea you were there. You know,
Knock
just
their
like
phone out.
yeah, you know, just to show them like, hey, you're freaking close to
Yeah,
me.
like, can you,
can I get
like,
some space?
Back up.
I've knocked over grandma before. She was standing right behind me and I tripped over her. I was like, what the fuck are you doing over here? You know? Like you shouldn't be here. Actually, I said that straight up. Like it was during
You
the
shouldn't be
ceremony.
anywhere near
It was
us.
during the
We,
ceremony,
like,
right?
move.
You know, during the ceremony, the bride
You
is
should be in the front watching.
She wasn't. She was behind me. So like, what do you call it? You know, the bride's coming down the aisle with her dad. You know, at some point you have to back up
Yeah.
to get the exchange, right?
Yeah, of course.
Grandma was behind me as we were getting to that point, and I tripped over her. I was like, "What the hell are you doing here? Like, you're not
Grandma,
supposed to be
sit
here,
down.
Grandma. What the hell are you doing here, right?" So, but in any case, yeah, you want to try to get ahead of that as much as you can.
That's one
you
way
know?
to combat
Prevention.
It. Yeah.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. All right. I'm very sorry that this happened to you. Right. Now that you know that this is something that can happen, try to prevent it from happening in the future. You know, because like all this nonsense that you're dealing with in the aftermath, right? It's avoidable, I think. You know, like try to get ahead of it on the front end.
Knock the bridal part.
Give them all your coats. Give them all your bouquets.
Yeah, find ways.
Break her leg.
Like I said, it sucks, you know, and it does
Yeah.
make our job a little
But
harder
if
now.
she's there, like for a full, like I don't know,
The whole
45 minutes next to me, I will have
Yeah,
an
but
issue.
listen, just-
I'm gonna leave the wedding or she leaves.
Or what you could do is one thing that I do during family shots is a relative next to me. I put my camera down.
Yeah, that's what we do too.
And I wait.
Yep. Look at that phone.
Yep, everyone look at
and
this
now
phone.
Everybody, and now
Everyone look at this
everybody's
phone.
looking at
Yep,
this
that
relative
person,
like,
yep.
what the fuck are you doing?
Sit down.
You paid a lot of money to have this
photographer
photographer
here.
here.
Yep.
So if you do the same, maybe that could
Yeah.
work too, where
Yep.
you just put
Look
your
at
camera
it.
down and you say, all right, just get your shot,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
I'll get
and then
mine.
walk
It's
away.
very passive aggressive. I
Yeah.
learned this
Yeah.
from Jasmine Star.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
her or
It
hate her.
works. It
Love her or
definitely
hate her.
works.
Yep,
And
that definitely works.
sometimes, like, it pisses off the couple, but hey, like, I
Yeah.
mean, it gets them angry with whoever's doing
Oh
it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I do that. I have no shame. I'll throw everyone under
Yep.
the bus. All right,
Yep.
guys, everyone look at Uncle's camera.
Yep.
Everyone look at Auntie's
And then they
phone.
all put it down and walk
Everyone.
away. Yep.
And I'll put my camera down. Because
Yep.
the thing is, I'm not, if
Yep.
I have a group picture of 20 people and I got an uncle looking somewhere else,
Yeah.
right?
and which always happens, yeah.
Right?
fixing
I'm
that.
not fixing that.
Yep.
Like,
Eyeballs.
uncle just looking at it over there.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And also combat this, vendors, share your photos with the venue.
Yes, just send
After
it
the
to
wedding.
them.
Now,
It's
no.
free
This is
That's
what-
marketing.
that's a whole nother
Yeah.
10 minutes
Yeah.
there.
No, but I think that helps to alleviate if people were more willing to share their photos with the venue,
That's why I mentioned that.
as opposed to this is why they're hiring their own content creators.
I had a whole episode on one of my lives because of this. All right. The reason why a lot of these photographers are not sharing their photos with the venues because, like, they're using it for marketing and promotional stuff. They need
They're
to
not
pay
paying
me.
me. No,
They need to pay me for these images.
That's stupid.
You're getting exposure.
Well, you can't pay rent with exposure. That's what they say, right? You can't pay rent with exposure. You can't pay your bills
Listen,
with exposure.
I
Show
have
me-
no problem sharing the photos, especially with the venues that I know are going to put them on Instagram and do the appropriate thing and
yes.
tag me. Yes, you might not know if they're going to actually do their part, but at least be willing to share. You
Yes.
don't have to send the whole gallery, five photos, whatever the case may be.
Portraits, even venue shots.
If people were willing to share more often, these vendors would not feel like they have to go get their own content creators because it's a double-edged sword. We get mad that we're not getting paid for sharing the photos, and then we get mad that they're actually bringing their own photographers and videographers to copy their own content. Like, do we expect all these other vendors to not have their own content?
right, right. They need photos.
They need photos. That's how you serve them.
But also,
Exactly.
after a venue does that to me, I'm not giving them shit.
Yeah.
Right. If they don't, if they
Yeah.
go about it the
Yeah,
wrong
I'm not
way, I'm
giving
not
them
sharing
shit.
anymore.
Right, yeah.
Correct. But like now, everyone's getting their own content
Yeah.
creators because they're not. That's how they.
Because
That's how they're
photographers are
getting
not
it.
playing nice. But,
Yeah.
but maybe you don't have to be that photographer,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you know? Because like this venue both venues that I shot this weekend, I'm on both their lists. I don't pay a penny to be on their list,
Mhm.
right? And I give them all the photos. I've made multiple six figures from each of those venues alone.
Mm-hmm.
They're like another source of marketers for you.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
shouting your name out, and why wouldn't you?
Why would
share
you
your
not give
photos?
them- yeah.
Yeah. First, you don't know how to appropriately charge for the licensing for one or two
Yes.
photos that you're giving them,
Well,
and
some
you're going to
people do.
compare. Okay, it's going to be a few $100.
10,000, 20,000.
If they even pay it, right?
Right, right.
And if you come back and hit them with a $10,000 quote, they're not going to pay it, and you've already burned bridges. I'd rather be like, here's the one photo that you want,
Yes.
and I'm going to get $50,000 of work
Yes,
for a
yes.
wedding.
They're doing 150 weddings a year. Do you think, and with 150 other photographers, do you think they're going to pay your $10,000 bill for those
Correct.
photos?
And here's the thing: if you don't do it,
Somebody
Somebody
will.
else, yes,
there's people lined up,
yes.
ready to come in there and just give them whatever they want.
And
Like,
they'll get the relationship and not you.
yeah. And if they like you, why not
Yes,
just
they will.
provide them
Yes.
with with what they want?
Yes.
Preach.
If you enjoy working there, if you enjoy
It's one thing
working
you
there,
feel like you're getting nothing in that exchange, right? I give you the
If you don't
photos.
ever want to come back, then
I'm giving you the photos. I get nothing in return, and then you might
Whatever.
feel like you're shortchanged, right? But don't allow that to happen. Then try to serve. And actually, you shouldn't be generous with the expectation of something in return. Anyway,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think that's the right way to do it anyway. But I already know there's going to be two people that's going to end up in my inbox once this episode airs.
that's fine. I mean, it's nice to listen.
And if you're listening right now,
Yeah.
I'm fully expecting you to show up in my
it's
inbox.
nice to hear the other side of it,
Yeah.
But for us who do volume, if you're shooting 10 weddings a year, you could do stuff like that. If you're trying to book as many as you want, like that's not gonna work. You have to build these relationships with all vendors, and that's one way of doing it.
Can't do it alone.
Yep.
Better together.
Better together.
Yeah, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with others. All right. We're all in this
I want to
together.
go fast and far.
Okay, I want to go eat. So,
All right, so
end this.
that's the tea. So the moral of this story is, we're terribly sorry that this happened to you. Really, not much you can do about it because it is the house rules. This is going to be a trend that we're going to be dealing with for the very foreseeable future. But I think we're all in agreement here. The consensus here is that you want to try to get ahead of it as much as you can. Okay.
And don't stand for disrespect. That's the part of the story that pissed me off when they disrespected you.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't have to work there
again.
again. If they're not going to play nice with you, you don't need to play nice with them either. Just cut them off. All right. Next time you get an inquiry there, don't take it. Easy as that. Okay. We feel terrible that this happened to you. So let's not let it happen again. Facts.
All
Facts,
right.
B. All right. So what's next?
That's it.
Was that the tea?
Thing?
Any tea?
That was the tea, no?
That's the tea.
That was the tea. Yeah.
That was business too.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
This is NT.
Oh,
Wrap
this
it
is
up.
NT.
Wrap it up. Go.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, because that was more of like establishing a good relationship.
Okay. Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Done.
There was a lot. There was a lot in that bulk.
Yeah.
There was a lot.
I
We hit a
agree.
lot of birds with one stone with that one.
Yes.
So anyway, this was episode 2 or part two of a very long episode. I had many drinks. I lost my train of thought
Yes.
multiple times,
Yeah, we did.
including right now.
So not focused. This is what happens
Yeah, not
when we
focused
do
right
2 in a row.
But,
So
but in any
We're
case,
never focused.
yeah. So anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments, you guys would like to kind of call in or email us or anything like that, we'd love to hear you guys. Any stories you guys want to share with us, you can actually send those in to us at hello@focus-af.com. And if you guys would like to follow us on Instagram, check out our bloopers, highlights, and behind the scenes, you can check us out on Instagram at focused.af. You can also download this episode along with many others at focus-af.com. And if you'd like to meet us in person, we'd love to see you guys next year at the Focused AF Summit. That's going to be taking place on January 11th at the Bellworks in Homedale. We'd love to see you guys. Our co-host here, Jen, is going to be on the stage sharing the stage with me.
Well, our counterparts here.
Yeah, I'm on the stage too. I'm speaking. I think I'll be going last, and then Karis is going to be our MC host.
Ooh, are
Yeah.
you Karis?
Guess.
They signed you up.
You want to join me, Ro?
They signed you up.
Yeah, the two shyest people in this group.
I'm the t-shirt cannon operator.
$800. We got to sell 2 tickets to get that thing. Anyway, we'd love to see you guys at the Focused AF Summit. We'd love to see you guys there. But on that note, are you guys Focused AF?
We are.
We are.
I'm also hungry AF.
Yes, hungry for sure.
Yeah.
Guys,
Good job, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, and we look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Adios.
Adios.
Focused AF is a fun, business-focused podcast for wedding creatives.
Co-hosted by award-winning husband and wife wedding photography teams Ben and Karis.
And Jenn Ro, where we help fellow wedding creatives with their sales and marketing.
With laid-back conversations and real talk with some of our most favorite people in the universe.
And with that being said, are you Focused AF?
I am Focused AF today.
We are Focused AF.
I think I might be Focused AF.
Welcome to the Focused AF podcast.